Right, lads, we're back again for another tip video. This week we're back at UFC London, Brady versus Edwards in the main event. Absolutely on fire last week. If you follow these tip videos, I literally had everyone right but Kurt Halliball made about 320 odd quid, I'd probably say, for how much. There's someone who put like 700 quid on one of these. I have a screenshot, I'll throw it up here now, but 700 quid odd. So, kind of mad. So yes, last week's card, we done extremely well. We didn't really get anything wrong. We will push down to this card here now, UFC London, main event, Edwards, Brady. I've already been asked what I thought about this on the live stream that I done 2 days ago and I was extremely drunk, but I don't know. Look, we'll get down to the lock of the week.
Nathaniel the Prospect Wood!
Yes, lads, this week, the lock of the week is going to be Nathaniel Wood, who's fighting the last player, Morgan Sherrier. They both have lost in their last 5. Nathaniel Wood lost to Hillman, Nemanov, and Chepe Mascal beat Morgan Sherrier. The main reason that I believe that Sherrier will win, that Wood will win this one, is Wood is beaten the way better competition. I think he's the more heavy wrestler. Not better striking, but definitely no slouch. No, he's close, but definitely better wrestling. I think he can win the grappling exchanges and really make this a 30-15 minutes. He's beaten the higher competition in the UFC 100%. He has wins against Daniel Pineda in his recent one, not brilliant, but Andre Fili, Charles Jourdain, Charles Rosa, to Gabriel Miranda and Mayanos Zagici, who I don't think is even in the promotion anymore. So, you know, and to lose to Chepe Mascal, no offense to Chepe Mascal, but he's not the greatest. Like, he wouldn't be better than Wood. That's why I think Wood at 6-4 is crazy odds here. Morgan Sherrier's always lost whenever he stepped up as well. This is one thing about his career that just I don't really like, is that he always steps up but he does lose. He's lost to Paul Hughes. No harm in that. He's, you know, a PFL champion. He's off for a belt. Jordan Vahuzovic, who's actually on this card, who will be coming up. But, you know, Jordan Vahuzovic, it was in 2021, but there's still fights you have to look at that when he's pushed up, he's lost in competition. Chepe Mascal's another good example. Like Manalo Zanichi, I don't think is even in the UFC anymore. I think he's been released already. That's his only fight. You know, then you look at Nathaniel Wood. He only has 6 losses. I don't think he's lost. He's only lost to Hillman in the UFC 2 years ago. He's definitely a better grappler. He beat Alex Caceres in grappling. He beat Cameron East. He lost to Casey Kenny and John Donson, but these were years ago. This is all 2020. There are things to look at, but I just believe that he can rise above the step, especially in London, where he's from, especially when he's the hometown man from London, England, on the main card. This fight close. I won't say robberies, they're not as bad, the English judges. They don't actually do too many robberies, but I can see it, that if this stays close, he gets the win. So look, we'll move on to the favourites. So this is the favourite acca right here. We have, I suppose we'll start with the first person there, Mick Perkin. He's fighting Marcin Trubula. He would have actually been my lock, because as I always say, I think he's the second, you know, Tom Aspinall. I think he is basically Tom Aspinall in a different sort of mould, but he's the favourite, so I kind of have to throw him in here. Marcin Trubula does have a win in his most recent fight. He beat Johnny Denise, who just doesn't know grappling at all, so it's kind of easy. Taito Ivasa. He's beaten everyone in the division that has no grappling experience at all. If you don't know grappling, he can win because he's just a big fucking bear. But I think Mick Perkin will stay on the outside, stay on his feet. Even if it hits the mat, I still think he has very good grappling to be able to get back up. But I think he stays on the outside, peppers him with strikes. Leg kicks is one of Mick Perkin's one of his absolute home run game plans, so he should get that leg kick going. If he does, it'll definitely take him down. In the defense of Mick Perkin, he hasn't actually beaten a massive amount of UFC talent. He's beaten Muhammad Usman, Lucas Bresky did finish him, Kai Machado and Jamel Pokes. Jamel Pokes isn't a bad one actually. That was in London. I think the judges will play a part on some of these cards that I'm picking here, but I believe Mick Perkin picks up that one just because I think he can kind of weather the storm of Trubula's wrestling. I think once you get past Trubula's wrestling, he isn't very good. His hands are very slow, and I think it's kind of just a matter of time. I don't think Mick Perkin finishes him, but you never know. On to the next one, we go with Mama B, you know, a person from Ireland representing, I think she's from Tala. Big Mama B, I'm picking her now because her last win was actually in London. I thought she looked good. The first time she lost her first company bout, I had 30 quid on that. Wasn't very happy that she just bounced around, I think, through like 50 strikes or less than that. I think she put like nearly record low numbers, but obviously nerves was probably a part of that one. And then the Alice Dean one, I thought she got her kicks going. She got the karate stance going correctly. She started throwing a lot more strikes, stayed on her feet. She showed okay grappling. The reason I'm picking her is Pula Tumar, the person she's fighting, is absolutely fucking useless. I don't say this about many fighters, but she is absolutely shite. I mean, she's only beaten Renee Amada. I don't know who Renee Amada even is. She has 2 losses since getting to the UFC, so that makes sense. Paratuma just has heavy wrestling. I mean, she was 1-3 in the one promotion. Like, it's not that she is not fighting high-level people. She clearly is, but she's just not very good. Mama B should just be able to keep this on the feet, and if she does, even if it hits the mat, as long as she's, not just going to sit on her back and not wet blanket and get back up, or at least try to cause a bit of an upset, she could definitely take the 15-minute decision here. Again, judges could play a part, but I don't think so. I think that Mama B is a bit too good to get caught in that. Next, 3 to 10, we have Jordan Vahuzovic. Now, as I said, Jordan Vahuzovic is going to be on this card. He's fighting Chris Duncan. I thought Jordan Vahuzovic was very unlucky in his debut. He came in on, I think it was 2 weeks' notice. He fought as Chidadze. Was actually that kicks off this card. Before him, I'd arguably could have finished him. Definitely, if he had the gas tank and the full camp, would have won that fight and would have finished him. But look, he looks like a great prospect. He's fighting Chris Duncan. It's hard not to pick up against Chris Duncan because, to be fair, he has fumbled a lot of fights. It's not really anything wrong with him. Like, he hasn't really beaten anyone, for being 100% fair, but, like, Brad, like that Budak Akoli won me money last year, but that's just because possibly the Akoli one won me money, and it might have just been the stupidest guillotine joke I've ever seen besides my Victor Petrino. But yeah, near moves, he's taken out a few different talents, but I think Jordan Vahuzovic, former Cage Warriors champion, the Epidemic, comes out and wins this. He has also lost to Paul Hughes, and as I said, Gerzum Jameson coming in on low fucking stuff. There's definitely a finish inside this fight. I believe that there is. I just don't know who gets it. But we'll move on to the last person now inside the ACA, who's Loner Kavanagh. I was actually going to go against Loner Kavanagh when I first saw this fight, to be honest. I was going to go against it. But then I re-looked at it as DeSantos has lost last 2. Now, against Andre Lima and Moel Comp, okay. But it's just one of these things where he didn't even really beat Victor Amino or Victor Altamino for me. He just kind of pushes forward with no real abandonment. He doesn't really keep his hands up. There's no real solid defense. It's just push forward, pressure, hope to crack the person. And unfortunately, if he tries this with Loner Kavanagh, I believe that Loner Kavanagh has some of the best power for this weight division. They're 125ers and he has power. If you walk in front of him and keep coming down with that same sort of pressure style, you will get cracked, you will hit the mat, and you will be a good night Irene. Now, do I think that there's a grappling aspect for Felipe DeSantos? Yes, I do. I believe that there actually is a grappling advantage in this fight for him, but it's one of those ones where I don't think it's very heavy, and I can believe Loner Kavanagh can finish him. So that's what we're going with the ACA. That's the way I'm looking at it. That's the way I'm thinking it's going to go. But we'll move down to the underdogs. So here we are now in the underdogs. We will start with the Polish power Jan Blachowicz. I'm just thinking a crafty vet comes out here and takes out. Like, I know he's 42, but I do think that a crafty vet comes out here and takes out Carlos Ulberg. I think Carlos Ulberg's very one-dimensional. He doesn't really have a massive amount of skills. He has heavy hands and decent wrestling, but more is just he uses heavy hands to try and knock you down. Then gets on top. He doesn't really wrestle. He does have good range management and everything like that. I just think it's one of these ones where the only real people that you can say Jan Blachowicz has lost to over the last 5 fights is Glover Teixeira by submission, a split decision with Ankalaev, or a draw, and Alex Pereira. To the Pereira fight where he basically just held him down for the whole fight. But, I can see Jan Blachowicz winning this at 2-1. I don't think Polish power's done in MMA yet. I think that it's definitely going to be a heavy grappling affair by him. I think he can. I think the takedowns could be there for him, but he needs to stay with danger. He's never got the chin cracked inside the UFC. Finished once inside the octagon. That was by Thiago Santos, and that was years ago. That was in 2019. So he has been cracked once, but I believe that he has the tools to take out Carlos Ulberg. I don't think the wrestling heavy game will be there, and I think the legendary Polish power might be there as well. I think it's one of those ones where this is going to be a bit of a cagey affair, two lads and looking not to get hit. I just believe Jan Blachowicz will be able to just wrestle him and hold him up against the cage a lot more. But we move into the second person here, which is Keelan Loughnane. Now, look, I'm Irish, so some of these could be biased. I'm picking Loughnane just because the Don, I assume, has to have gotten better. Like, he's lost to Tyler Lapalus in a very, very boring fight because Tyler Lapalus is boring. And Jake Hadley is not a bad loss to have. Nathan Fletcher has beaten him in the amateur scene. But I just believe surely he's been in the UFC longer. He's, not taken as long as a route. I assume Loughnane has to have gotten better. I assume that he has. I think the wrestling heavy game for Loughnane is still there. It's just the striking on the feet, because Fletcher definitely has the striking advantage. I just think if Loughnane can get his real takedowns going and be able to hold it with a high game, it's definitely possible he can grind out a 15-minute. I think at the odds, it's a hard thing to say no to. So I believe Keelan Loughnane will be able to do it. I just think a heavy wrestling game, not really better striking, just a heavy wrestling game with more takedowns than I'd like to say. He probably should be able to get it done. And we'll move into the last person on this. It's actually going to be Molly, Big Molly Meatball. I originally was thinking that this fight she was definitely going to lose now. Like, she's lost 3 out of her last 5. It is kind of starting to get a bit worrying how she's still in the UFC. I understand why. I get it. Look, I do get it that she is a recognisable name for the casuals. She's, Paddy, they talk funny, ha. The whole McGregor thing, funny talking. But I believe this is the classic London Care behaviour where they give her a fight that is so lined up that she has to win it. Hannah Goldie's a good example. She got nearly into top 15 for beating Hannah Goldie, who's now an OnlyFans model. It's, it just makes OnlyFans. She, of course, got submitted by Erin Blanchfield. The Julia Stankovic one kind of ruins it quite a bit because there was only one thing she was going to do, armbar it, and she armbarred her because I'm actually not really sure what Molly was doing that night. She came back, she beat Dina the Bibia by armbar. Not a bad win. Nothing really wrong, but then lost to Bruno Brazil, which in hindsight is not the most terrible loss to have. Bruno Brazil is in one of the best gyms in the world, one of the best gyms with the takeover. And the reason I'm going to pick this as well is that Alexa Tayarina, her opponent, I to be honest don't think was very good in the Contender Series. If you go back even 2-3 seasons ago, she doesn't get a contract. The Argentinian one who didn't get a contract, that was 20, had a way better performance. I'm not really sure why Dana does this. I know the division is barren. It's like being in the Sahara Desert, how dry it is. But what I mean is that I don't think Alex is that good. She is 11-0, and I understand, or 11-1. I understand that's what people are looking at. But it's all on the regional Brazilian scene, and to be honest, I think her record is a bit fraudulent. It's a bit fucking. It's a bit weird. Like, I mean, 9-6 when you're 9-1, 5-1, 8-1, 7-1. You fought someone who's 0-1. Or, sorry, 1-0. Like, they don't even have a pro win. You're 7-1. 3-1. Another person who's 0-1. 0-0, and you're 4-1. Like, she does have a loss to Bruno Brazil, so both of them lost to Bruno Brazil. You make your debut in MMA against someone who's 0-3. So, it's regional scene stuff. She has so many cancelled fights as well that it does just kind of make you look like, right, that there's probably not going to be the gas tank there for this. I assume that Molly McCann catches her with something big in like round 2 or 3 and finishes her, or takes the decision to keep her contract, to keep the casual fan base interested in her and Paddy. They give her these easy fights to make sure she wins. A 6-4, I can't say no for the way that it's looking. But anyways, look, we'll get down to the ACA. I'll show you. Some of these odds have changed. I will say this, I made these graphics around Monday, so they have actually changed a tiny bit in odds. But we'll get over to the ACA. So there's the ACA right there. I took it at 50, but we have Shawna Brennan, Mick Perkin, Kavanagh, and Vujovic. I have it here at 50, but that's going to be the ACA, that's going to be the odds. And if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. If you're there, hit the subscribe button. I will be back again. I'll give you a quick rundown of the rest of the card. I'm going to give you quick, no explanations. I'm just going to do it here just because I'm probably going to get asked. For the fights I haven't looked at, the main event, I don't know. To be honest, I'm gonna lean towards Edwards because it's in London. They gave him the decision. Probably won't be right. Between Gunnar Nelson and Kevin Holland, I don't know how it's so far up on the card, but I'm going to say Kevin Holland. I believe that this is just another one of those 2-0 fights that Kevin Holland will win. Jai Herbert versus Chris Pantilla. I'll go Jai Herbert. I believe Jai Herbert, the Black Country banger, might even finish him, but I do believe he wins it. Chris Leroy beats the Russian fella. I don't know the point of me talking about that name. Gadzom Shinzed's like 1-4, so he's definitely going to win that fight too. But I'll just give you the quick rundown of what I think is going to happen, just quickly on the card. I won't go any more into it. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, as I said, like button, hit subscribe button. I'll do another one of these next weekend. Let's hope we have the same sort of success as we did last week, because I definitely made a lot of money for a few different people. So anyways, everything I've said, and I will see you on the next one.